Hi, good afternoon. This is Philippe, the Learning to Grow guy. Please remember to like, eh, okay, subscribe and share. Like, subscribe, and share. Okay, if you could do me a favor and do those three things, um, I very much appreciate that. Okay, I seem to have been neglecting that aspect for a while, and I'm trying to make up for that. I'm trying to incorporate that into some of these videos that into all videos that I'll be making. But again, I'm not perfect. I'm still human. Okay. Ah, sounds like my neighbor is coming home. He drives the same out for one of the companies down here. But anyway, back to focus here. I'm gonna show you what I've been doing since I took my nap earlier today, after mowing and things like that. I've been harvesting these babies here. Okay, I've been harvesting these. These are squashes. Okay, these are squashes. This is butternut. It's not where I want it to be. It's smaller. I think the drought may have an effect on some of them, but I've also got some that are like this size and that size. Okay, I prefer them the larger because that's a couple of days worth of food there for me, believe it or not. Otherwise, these here I could probably use one or two of these per meal or something along those lines. Anyway, these are butternut squashes. Okay, butternut squashes. These are acorn. I believe in the previous video I mentioned these as butternut squash at a point. It's not butternut. These are acorn. If you look at the shape, more like acorn shaped. Anyway, this here is what you call spaghetti squash, okay? And all the spaghetti squash, as you can see, they're variety. They have a difference in coloring. That's because some of them are not as ripe as they should be before I harvested. All that means is that these here, the ones that are not fully ripe, I'll be eating those much sooner rather than later. Um, when you're picking squashes, when you're harvesting your squashes, you have to cure them so that they can last for at least a year. This one look a little diseased, feels a little soft, but well, all that means that I'll be eating these varieties a little bit sooner rather than later. Okay, you have to cure them. Once you cure them, they can last up to a year or maybe even a little bit more. Okay, I've got a buddy. He and his wife went out and picked up some squashes from the Mennonites. They were from last year's stash, and they're at least a year. They're at least a year old, and they were still good squashes. Okay, now why would I want to grow so many squashes? Okay, the idea is to have enough food so I can eat some on a daily basis. Okay, you want to harvest, you want to grow food so that you have enough to last you for a while. These are not all the squashes. This is just the beginning. Some of the beginning. This is just my second picking of these squashes to try to get them set for preservation. Okay, those onions there, that's not, I don't have 365 onions, and they're not large enough so that you only use one. They're still small. I'm hoping for next year to have better production. I'm not sure if I've mentioned that already because this is like my third take of trying to get this video going. Okay, but I still have plenty of squashes to go. There is plenty here. There's more than 50, probably pushing 70 maybe or so squash. I've not make that determination yet, but the goal is to try to grow enough food so you have plenty to last you for more than a year. Okay, at least until your next harvest. I still have plenty of stuff here that I need to deweed. This is what happens when you let gardens get out of control for at least 11 days or more. Okay. Oh, by the way, these here are at least 5 feet tall. Okay, and if you can look up, the corn is still way taller than this here. Anyway, just something to point out. There is still plenty of squashes left in here. There's plenty of tomatoes that needs to be harvested. Okay. I still have sweet potatoes that I have not messed around with as of yet. Again, there are still plenty of tomatoes. There are still plenty of squashes. As you can see, I still have various other type of squashes. In here, there's a lot of butternut squash, which is one of my favorite squashes. Well, my favorite squash, at least, because it tastes so much like sweet potatoes. There's a blue Hubbard in there. There's even a pumpkin in here of some sort here. I don't know if you can see it. It's right there. Okay. Gonna let it grow, but nonetheless, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be harvested out of here. And just as before, like I always said, to make sure that you plant stuff around your trees, around everything. Okay, under here I still have butternuts, I'm sorry, acorn squashes that are still growing, that are still developing under trees, around wherever, plant stuff so that they produce as much food as possible. This is another one of those cucuzza the Italian squashes. I gotta harvest that one as I want to try to dehydrate it. I don't know if you can see in there. There is another butternut squash. There's more than one butternut squash in there. I have not harvested those yet. But nonetheless, they all will be going through the same process. As you can see, there's still plenty of tomatoes. Okay, plenty of tomatoes. All right. You want to make sure that certain plants, you want to keep harvesting normally and just keep preserving your food. I'm saying that because some plants, once the plants go to seed, I may imagine that squashes are not one of those. Once the plants produce stuff that is mature, they basically stop producing. Okay, they stop producing. And again, plenty of tomatoes. Oh yeah, and there's plenty of comfrey here. I need to dehydrate some comfrey, so I make sure I have some for over the winter time should I have a need for them. Okay, and just so you know, also across the way here, there's still plenty of squash. They're still developing. They're still making, various stages. They're maturing. You see that? There's still plenty of squashes left. So, like I said, the goal is to have enough squash so that you're able to do whatever it is you need to do. A squash of this magnitude is actually maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 days worth of food, depending on how hungry I get. It may only be 2 days. But what I'm trying to tell you is that these are still producing, is what I'm trying to tell you. The string beans are still producing. And string beans are one of those products as to where if you don't keep harvesting, they will get to a point as to where once they go to seed, they will stop producing. And that's not what you want. You want your beans to keep producing for as long as possible. Okra is another one of those things. Another one of those plants that will keep producing. Okay. I need to harvest some okra. I haven't gotten around to it because I've been busy trying to cut grass. I've harvested as many of these squashes as possible. I need to get some beets too. I'd like to have some beets for dinner. Yeah, I like beets. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I like beets. It's a good idea to grow as many stuff as you can. Okay, even around here, I harvested a lot from this bundle here, and guess what? They're still producing. Okay, they're still producing. So what I'm trying to tell you, this watermelon, I'm still looking forward to this one, but I still have the other melons to try to eat and consume. This still remains to be consumed. So I'm talking about harvesting foods and setting them aside so that they can actually be used over the winter time. All right, it's not just foods, it's stuff like mint. Okay, it's stuff like mint. All right, let me show you something. Chocolate mint. I've been harvesting some. Okay, I've been harvesting some. These are Swiss chard seeds. Okay, they're still on the little stems. Okay, now the method of choice that I use in storing food and such is dehydration. Okay, the reason for that is that I have not as of yet learned or mastered the art of preserving food. I gotta get the sun out of my eye. I have not learned the art of preserving food through the canning methods, okay? So therefore dehydration is a process that I've used. You've seen me before when I sliced up some of these tomatoes and put them in the dehydrator behind me, and this is them here. The only thing, everything in here that I'm going to show you that is in a jar, the only process that I have not done with them is that I have not, and I'll say it again, I have not either used a one of those food saver machines or a brake bleeding pump to suck the air out of here, or nor have I placed the oxygen absorbers in here so that they can burn up the oxygen. Okay, when you're dehydrating foods like this, you want to keep them in jars. You want to make sure that they are completely dry. Okay, you want to make sure that they are completely, I'm looking at a bug flying by here. You want to make sure that they are completely dry. This is my okra. Okay, this is okra. It is hard. It is hard and it is dry. All right, I'll dehydrate these suckers for as many as 3 days straight in a row if need be, to get so that I may know that I have all the liquids out of them. And I'm saying that because if you have any bit of moisture left, okay, moisture get inside of them because you didn't take some of them out, that means that you may have a scenario as to where mold may start to develop, and whatever you have in that jar is going to go back. Okay, these are potatoes. I did potatoes in in a multitude of ways. Okay, meaning that the way I cut them up. All right, some of these here, this is cut in cubes. You can put this stuff in soups, and this stuff is so dry. I'm afraid to get a big one. I'm going to get a small, tiny piece from here. I'm glad I don't have fake teeth. It's already pre-cooked. What I did with the potatoes is that I boiled them for a few minutes. They were sliced, shredded, or whatever. I boiled them, I pulled them out, put them in the dehydrator, okay? That was cube potatoes. I got some that are string like this, like fry-like, okay? I even have some that are shredded, like for hash brown purposes, okay? Everything based on the shapes or whatever it is pertains to potatoes, they were all put into that shape, cubed, made like French fries, made like hash browns, whatever, shredded. They were all done before they were boiled. And once they were boiled, it's just about pulling them out and putting them in the dehydrator. This is mullein. This is good for coughs and such, okay? This is my little mullein. This is chocolate mint tea, all right? Chocolate mint tea. It's all dehydrated. And this is the cucuzza, or the Italian zucchini, okay? Everything is dried. Trust me, I spent more than a day to 2 days trying to get them dehydrated enough. If not even, I may even have gone 3 days with some of these, just to make sure that everything had been removed from them. All the moisture had been removed from them. Okay, that's what I tried to do. And the whole purpose of that, again, is to make sure that I'm able to preserve foods. This method here does not require you to have a warm room, a freezer. It does not require that. As long as it's dry, kept dry, they're all good. Okay, all will be good. All right. Compared to if they've been canned, as to where you need a room of a given temperature, steady temperature, and all this other stuff. I don't have that as of yet. So therefore, this is the methodology that I like to use. Now, I'm going to show you some of the items that I've harvested before I left out for my 11-day outing. Butternut squash, okay? Spaghetti squash, all right? I'm sorry. Let's try this again. Spaghetti squash, acorn squash, okay? That's butternut squash right there. All right, that brown one. This is a blue Hubbard squash. All right, this one is the Italian zucchini. Those don't, based on my findings last year, they didn't do too good as far as long-term storage. They went bad on the insides, and my recommendation is to eat those while they're young. Oh my God, we're gonna eat our young. No, I'm just kidding with that. No, but eat them while they're still young, while they're still soft and things like that, because otherwise, this is a little hard. Best you may get out of those is probably seeds for next year. Okay, so but otherwise, preserve as much food as you can. Okay, our future. You got a crazy election coming up in November. I don't know what the future holds. Okay, under the past 4 years, prices of everything has gone up by so much, and you can do your own research on that. So how much is food going to cost in the future? I don't have a clue. Okay, so my viewpoint is, my plea to you is, do the best you can to grow as much food as you can and preserve as much food as you can. Okay. Typically, the squashes that I've harvested, as I'm going to share some, I would like to sell some, but the main thing is I need to preserve some. Okay, and I will be consuming some as we go. All right, because you don't grow stuff just to lay it up for the future. You grow stuff so you can eat and things, and eat and live. Okay, so that's all I've got for you. Okay, that's all I've got for you. May God bless you all, and enjoy your evening. I gotta fix my dinner. Okay. Ooh, I'm having a vegan burger, and I don't necessarily promote the vegan meats out there. I don't necessarily promote those, so I'm not going to tell you what brand or whatever it is that I'm using. I've got some of those patty pan zucchinis, and I'm thinking about going over there to get some of those okras or some string beans to have along with that. Yeah. I got some beans. No, not beans. I got some potatoes in the freezer. Maybe I'll use some of that too. Yeah. Anyway, that's going to be my dinner. Y'all take care. Good night. God bless.